The holiday party was in full swing when Marcus from marketing decided to be funny. "Hey, check it out," he said, loud enough for half the ballroom to hear. "Even the cleaning lady gets to come to the party. How generous of management." Laughter rippled through the crowd. 20, maybe 30 employees turned to look at me, standing by the buffet table in my gray uniform, holding a plate of cheap canapes. "Somebody should tell her this isn't a costume party," Jessica from sales added. "She doesn't need to dress as the help. She is the help." More laughter, louder now, emboldened. I stood there, silent, as I'd been for 3 years. The invisible woman who emptied their trash and cleaned their toilets and scrubbed their coffee stains from the break room counter while they complained about their 6-figure salaries and their stock options. Then the CEO walked in. Thomas Bradford, 58 years old, gray hair, expensive suit. The man who'd built this company from nothing and was about to sell it to the highest bidder. Or so everyone thought. "Ladies and gentlemen," he said into the microphone, his voice cutting through the chatter. "If I could have your attention, before we continue with the festivities, I have an important announcement." The room went quiet. People clutched their champagne glasses, worried. There'd been rumors of layoffs, of restructuring, of changes coming. "As many of you know," Thomas continued, "I've been considering retirement. The board has been working for months to secure our future, and I'm pleased to announce that we've finalized a deal with our new majority shareholder, someone who believes in this company's mission and is committed to its success." Relief washed over the room. A new investor meant stability, meant jobs were safe, meant bonuses would continue. "I'd like to introduce you to our new majority owner, who now controls 51% of this company and will be joining our board as executive chairwoman." He gestured toward me, toward the janitor by the buffet table. "Margaret Chen, would you please come up here?" The room froze. Every eye turned to me. The cleaning lady. The invisible woman in the gray uniform who they'd been mocking 30 seconds ago. I set down my plate, smoothed my uniform, and walked through the crowd toward the stage. The silence was beautiful. "My name is Margaret Chen. I'm 62 years old. I've worked as a janitor at Chen Bradford Technologies for 3 years. Before that, I worked as a janitor at 12 different companies over 35 years. But that's not the whole story. That's never been the whole story. I'm also the daughter of David Chen, one of the most successful tech investors of the 1970s and 80s. The man who backed Apple when everyone thought Steve Jobs was crazy, who invested in Microsoft before anyone knew what software would become, who understood early that technology would change everything. My father died in 1998, leaving me an inheritance of $47 million and a simple piece of advice. Watch people when they don't know you're watching. That's when you see who they really are. I've spent the last 26 years doing exactly that. Working as a janitor isn't punishment, it's research. I go into companies as invisible labor. I clean their offices, I empty their trash, I listen to their conversations when they forget I'm human, when they forget I have ears. And then I invest. Or I don't. Over 26 years, I've turned $47 million into $1.3 billion. Not by following hot stocks or listening to analysts, by being invisible, by watching, by knowing which companies treat their people well and which ones don't. The companies that treat their janitors with respect, those are the ones that succeed long term. Because if you treat the person who cleans your toilet with dignity, you'll treat your customers with dignity. You'll treat your employees with dignity. You'll build something that lasts. The companies that treat their janitors like garbage, those are the ones that eventually fail. Because cruelty trickles down. If you can't see the humanity in the person scrubbing your floors, you can't see it in anyone. Chen Bradford Technologies was supposed to be one of the good ones. Thomas Bradford, no relation to my father despite the shared name, built this company in 2002. Software solutions for healthcare systems. Noble mission. Good product. Decent people, mostly. I came here 3 years ago because I was considering an investment. Thomas was looking for capital to expand. He didn't need much, $5 million for a new facility. But I wanted to see the culture first. Wanted to know if this was a company worth betting on. So I applied for the janitorial position. Used my mother's maiden name, Margaret Wu, wore a gray uniform, became invisible. And for 6 months, I watched. Thomas was kind to me, always said good morning, asked about my family, treated me like a person, not furniture. The old guard, the people who'd been there since the beginning, they were good too. Professional, respectful, the kind of people who put their dirty coffee cups in the sink instead of leaving them on their desks for me to collect. But then the company started growing. New hires, young people from big tech firms, MBAs from Stanford and MIT, people who'd never struggled, never worried about money, never considered that the janitor might be human. And slowly, everything changed. Let me tell you what it's like to be invisible for 3 years. You arrive at 5 a.m. before anyone else. You unlock the building with a key that has your name on a piece of tape because the facilities manager never bothered to engrave it properly. Margie the cleaning lady, it says. Not Margaret, not Ms. Wu, Margie. You start on the 3rd floor because that's where the executives are and they arrive earliest. You empty trash cans, Windex the conference room table, vacuum the carpets, replace the coffee pods in the machine, wipe down the counters. You find things, private things. You see whose office has liquor bottles hidden in the desk drawer, whose computer has dating sites open at 7 a.m., whose trash can has evidence of affairs, receipts from hotels, cards from people who aren't their spouses. You don't judge, you just clean, and you remember. By 7 a.m., people start arriving, the early birds, the ones who want FaceTime with management. They walk past you without looking. You could be a piece of furniture, a vending machine. You're just there, part of the background. One morning, I was cleaning the women's bathroom when 2 women from finance came in. They didn't acknowledge me, just continued their conversation as if I didn't exist. "Did you see what Thomas's assistant is wearing today?" one said. "Those shoes probably cost more than my car payment. She's sleeping with him. Everyone knows." "Is she? I thought that was just a rumor." "It's not a rumor. My friend in HR said they went to a conference together last month. Separate rooms on the reservation, same room on the security footage." I kept cleaning. They kept talking. About Thomas. About his wife who didn't know. About how the assistant was gunning for a promotion she didn't deserve. When they left, I stood there with my spray bottle and thought about Thomas. Kind Thomas who said good morning, who I was considering giving $5 million to. I didn't give him the money, not yet. Instead, I watched, and what I saw broke my heart. Thomas was being eaten alive by his own company. The new hires, the ambitious MBAs with their suits and their jargon, they were transforming the culture, making it toxic, competitive, cruel. And Thomas, kind Thomas, didn't see it. Or if he did, he didn't know how to stop it. By the end of my first year, the company felt different, colder, meaner. I'd hear conversations in the break room. "Did you see the janitor trying to use the coffee machine this morning? Like she can afford the good pods. Someone should tell her the vending machines are for employees, not staff." "Is there a difference?" "Apparently not anymore." Laughter. Always laughter. I was cleaning the second floor conference room one afternoon when I heard Marcus and Jessica having a meeting. They didn't close the door, didn't lower their voices, because I wasn't a person. I was furniture. "Thomas is getting soft," Marcus said. "Did you see him talking to the cleaning lady this morning? Actually talking to her? Asking about her day." "He's old school," Jessica replied. "Doesn't understand modern business. You can't be friends with everyone. There's hierarchy for a reason." "Exactly. We need new leadership. Someone who gets it." "Think the board will push him out?" "I hope so. This company could be worth billions if we had the right CEO. Someone young, someone aggressive." I kept dusting, kept listening, kept filing it away. By year 2, the disrespect wasn't subtle anymore. I'd be cleaning the break room, and employees would literally push past me to get to the coffee machine. No excuse me, no acknowledgement, just bodies moving through space as if I weren't there. One Monday morning, I was mopping the lobby floor. I'd put up the yellow caution signs, made it clear the floor was wet. Marcus walked through anyway, tracking mud across my clean floor. When I said, "Excuse me, sir, the floor is wet," he turned and looked at me like I'd spoken in a foreign language. "Then mop it again," he said. "That's your job." "I just mopped it. If you could wait." "I don't have time to wait for the cleaning lady. Some of us have real work to do." He walked off. Mud prints across my clean floor. I stood there with my mop, feeling something I hadn't felt in 26 years of this work. Anger. Real, burning anger. Not at Marcus specifically, at the culture that created Marcus, at the company that allowed people like him to thrive while people like Thomas, kind, decent Thomas, got pushed aside. That's when I decided I was going to buy this company, not to save it, to change it. Let me tell you something about being rich that nobody tells you. It's lonely. When you have money, real money, not "I can afford a nice car" money, but "I can buy a company" money, people treat you differently. They want things. They have angles. They're never just talking to you. They're always positioning, always calculating. So I stopped telling people. When my father died and left me $47 million, I was 36 years old, married to a man I loved, working as a teacher, living a normal life. The money changed everything. My husband saw dollar signs, started making suggestions. We could buy a bigger house. We could travel first class. We could invest in my brother's business. His brother's business failed. We lost $300,000. My husband blamed me for not investing more. If you'd really believed in us, you would have given more. We divorced 2 years later. He got $2 million in the settlement. I got my freedom. After that, I never told anyone. Not friends, not boyfriends, not colleagues. I lived modestly, drove a used car, rented apartments, dressed in Target clothes, and I worked. Not because I needed money, because I needed purpose. Because sitting home alone with $1 billion is just being lonely with better furniture. I started working as a janitor because of my father's advice. Watch people when they don't know you're watching. The first company I worked at, I lasted 3 months. Software startup, young CEO, treated his engineers like gods and his cleaning staff like furniture. I watched him scream at an older woman who'd accidentally unplugged his computer to vacuum. Watched him make her cry. I didn't invest. The company went bankrupt 18 months later. Turns out, when you treat people like garbage, they don't stay loyal. The engineers left, the clients left, the CEO ended up on the street wondering what went wrong. The second company treated me like family. Small manufacturing plant. The owner knew everyone's name, knew my mother was sick, gave me time off to care for her without docking my pay. I invested $800,000 anonymously through a shell corporation. The company's still thriving, worth $20 million now. The owner still doesn't know I'm the silent partner who saved him when banks wouldn't loan him money for expansion. Over 26 years, I've worked at 32 different companies, invested in 14 of them. 12 succeeded, 2 failed. My success rate is 86%. Not because I'm smarter than other investors, because I do my research from the inside, because I know which companies are built on solid foundations of human decency and which ones are houses of cards waiting to collapse. Chen Bradford Technologies was supposed to be number 15. I'd spent 2 years watching, 2 years cleaning their offices and listening to their conversations and seeing the culture rot from the inside. And then I saw the numbers. Thomas was looking to retire. He'd built the company for 20 years. He was tired. His wife wanted to travel. His kids were grown. He was ready to step back. The board was actively looking for a buyer. They'd brought in consultants, had meetings with private equity firms, were taking bids. I heard this because I cleaned the boardroom, because I emptied the trash cans where they threw away the confidential memos that were supposed to be shredded. One particular memo caught my eye. Potential acquisition by Vertex Capital Partners. Initial offer, $180 million for 100% equity. Due diligence in progress. Projected staff reduction, 40% within first year. Focus on automation and efficiency. 40% staff reduction. Automation, efficiency, which meant firing people, replacing them with software, maximizing profit by minimizing humanity. I pulled that memo out of the trash, took it home, read it a dozen times. Then I called my financial advisor. I want to make an acquisition, I said. Chen Bradford Technologies. Find out what they're asking. Are you sure? That's a big move. You've never done a full acquisition before. I'm sure. Move quickly. I want this done before Vertex finalizes their deal. What are you willing to pay? I thought about Thomas, about the employees who would be fired, about the culture that could still be saved if someone cared enough to save it. Whatever it takes. My advisor came back 3 days later. They're asking $200 million for 100%, but I think we can structure a deal differently. Offer Thomas a way to stay involved. Offer the board more than Vertex, but with better terms for employees. What do you have in mind? We buy 51% for $130 million. Thomas keeps 25%. The remaining shareholders keep 24% combined. You have control. Thomas stays on as CEO for transition. Nobody loses their job in year 1 unless they deserve to be fired. Can we add employment protections? Make it part of the purchase agreement? We can. It'll make the deal more expensive. I don't care about expensive. I care about people. Then let's do it. We structured the deal carefully, created a shell corporation called Silent Dragon Holdings, Chinese-American business conglomerate, according to the paperwork, legitimate but anonymous, no public record of who owned it. We made the offer, $130 million for 51%, with Thomas retaining 25% and staying on as CEO, plus employment protections for all current staff, plus performance bonuses tied to employee satisfaction scores. The board was skeptical. This is unconventional. Most buyers want control and cost-cutting. But Thomas liked it. This is someone who cares about the company, not just profit. I think we should take it. The deal closed in 90 days. I became the majority shareholder of Chen Bradford Technologies, and nobody knew who I was. Except Thomas. He knew, because I'd called him after the papers were signed. Thomas, this is Margaret Chen from Silent Dragon Holdings. Ms. Chen, pleased to finally speak with you. Your team has been excellent to work with. I want to be honest with you about something. I haven't been fully transparent about who I am. What do you mean? I've been working at your company for 2.5 years as a janitor. Silence. You're Margie? The cleaning lady? Margaret Wu, yes. Why? Because I wanted to know if your company was worth investing in, if it was built on values that would last. I've spent 26 years doing this, working as invisible labor, watching how companies treat their people when they think nobody's watching. And what did you see? I saw a good company being destroyed by bad culture. I saw employees who forgot how to be human, and I saw a CEO who was too kind to stop it. So you're going to fire everyone? No, I'm going to fix everyone with your help. How? By reminding them who I am and who they are and what this company stands for. When? At the holiday party, 3 months from now. I'll keep working as the janitor until then. Let them get comfortable. Let them show me exactly who they are, and then we'll show them who we are. This is insane. This is necessary. All right, I'm in. The 3 months between the acquisition closing and the holiday party were the longest of my life. I kept working as the janitor, kept emptying trash, kept cleaning toilets, kept being invisible. But now I wasn't just watching, I was documenting. Every instance of disrespect, every cruel comment, every moment someone treated me like I wasn't human. I kept a journal, dated entries, names, quotes. November 3rd. Marcus from marketing walked past me in the hallway. I said good morning. He didn't respond, acted like I wasn't there. November 12th. Jessica from sales left her lunch dishes on her desk for a week. When I finally collected them, she said, "About time. What do we even pay you for?" November 20th. Conference room meeting. They ordered catering. Didn't invite me to eat, even though there were leftovers. When I asked if I could have some after my shift, they looked at me like I'd asked for their firstborn child. "That's for employees," someone said, as if I don't work here. But I wasn't just documenting the obvious cruelty. I was documenting the subtle ways people dehumanized me, the microaggressions that added up to macro indignity. November 5th. Cleaned the executive bathroom. Found used sanitary products left unwrapped on the counter. Next to them, a note. "Cleaning lady, please dispose properly." As if I'm responsible for teaching grown women basic hygiene. November 9th. Young engineer spilled coffee in the break room. Entire cup. Didn't even try to clean it, just walked away. I heard him tell his colleague, "That's what they pay the cleaning lady for." Spent 20 minutes cleaning coffee out of grout. November 15th. Company all-hands meeting. 400 people in the auditorium. I was setting up chairs beforehand. Multiple people sat in chairs I was actively arranging without asking me to move. One person physically pushed me aside. No apology. November 22nd, Thanksgiving week. Found a half-eaten turkey sandwich in a desk drawer. It had been there for at least 2 weeks based on the smell and mold growth. The desk belonged to a VP who makes $400,000 per year. He couldn't be bothered to throw away his own garbage. November 28th, Black Friday. Someone decided it would be funny to leave a note on my cleaning cart. "Dear cleaning lady, thank you for your service. Here's your tip." The tip was a penny, taped to the note. I kept it, framed it. Reminder of exactly how little some people think I'm worth. December 2nd, holiday party planning meeting. They were discussing the guest list. Someone said, "Should we invite the support staff?" Another person laughed. "Why? They're not really part of the company. They're just infrastructure." Infrastructure, like I'm a vending machine. December 6th, cleaned the women's bathroom on the 3rd floor. Overheard 2 women discussing me. "Have you noticed the cleaning lady always looks so tired?" "Well, she's old. Probably should retire." "I wonder why she even works here. Like, get a real job." "I'm 62. They're 28. I have more money than their entire extended families combined will ever see." December 10th. Marcus from marketing spilled soup on his desk. Instead of cleaning it up or calling me, he just left it overnight. I found it the next morning, dried soup all over electronics, papers, his keyboard. I spent 40 minutes cleaning it. He came in while I was finishing. His response? "Oh, good, you got that. I was wondering when you'd get to it." No thank you. No acknowledgement that he'd created the problem. By the time the holiday party came around, I had 97 documented instances of disrespect from 43 different employees. 97 reasons to make a statement. But I had more than that. I had stories, context, patterns. I knew that Marcus from marketing was disrespectful to everyone he considered beneath him. Not just me, the cafeteria workers, the security guards, the junior employees. He treated anyone without power like they were obstacles, not people. I knew that Jessica from sales was performatively cruel. She wasn't mean in private, only when others were watching. She used cruelty to establish dominance, to signal that she was important enough to treat others poorly. I knew that there were good people, too. About 60% of the company treated me with basic dignity. They said good morning. They cleaned up after themselves. They didn't make my job harder than it had to be. But 40%? 40% had forgotten how to be human, and they were poisoning the culture for everyone else. That's what I was going to fix, not by firing them all, by forcing them to see me, really see me, and then giving them the chance to choose who they wanted to be. The holiday party was on December 15th, black tie optional, open bar, catered food, DJ, the works. I was scheduled to work. "Someone needs to keep the bathrooms clean," the facilities manager said. "Can't have a party without working bathrooms." "Of course," I said. "I'll be there." I arrived at 5 p.m. The party started at 6. I wore my gray uniform, carried my cleaning supplies, set up in the bathroom on the second floor where the party would be held. Employees started arriving at 5:30. I could hear them through the bathroom door. "Open bar? Thomas is finally loosening the purse strings. Must be celebrating the new investor. Did you hear we got bought out? Apparently some Chinese holding company, Silent Dragon or something. Weird name. As long as my stock options are safe, I don't care who owns us. Honestly, I hope they fire some dead weight. This company's gotten soft. We could use some tough love." I stood in the bathroom stall, listening, waiting. At 6 p.m., I emerged, stood by the buffet table, invisible in my uniform. Marcus saw me first. "Hey, check it out. Even the cleaning lady gets to come to the party. How generous of management." 20 people turned to look at me. Some laughed. Some looked uncomfortable. Most just looked through me. "Somebody should tell her this isn't a costume party," Jessica added. "She doesn't need to dress as the help. She is the help." More laughter. Louder now. I didn't react, just stood there, holding my plate of canapes, being invisible one last time. Then Thomas walked in. He went to the microphone, gave his speech, made his announcement. "I'd like to introduce you to our new majority owner, who now controls 51% of this company and will be joining our board as executive chairwoman. Margaret Chen, would you please come up here?" The silence that followed was beautiful. Every face in that room went through the same progression of emotions: confusion, disbelief, horror, realization. The cleaning lady was their boss. The woman they'd been mocking for 3 years was now in charge of their careers, their bonuses, their futures. I walked through the crowd. Nobody moved. Nobody spoke. They just stared as I climbed the stairs to the stage. Thomas handed me the microphone. "Good evening," I said. My voice echoed through the ballroom. "Most of you know me as Margie, the cleaning lady, the woman who empties your trash and cleans your toilets and scrubs your coffee stains from the break room counter." Silence. "For 3 years, I've worked at this company, not because I needed the money, but because I wanted to understand who you are, what this company is, whether it was worth investing in." Someone in the back coughed. Otherwise, nothing. "My father was David Chen. Some of you might recognize that name. Early investor in Apple, Microsoft, Oracle. He left me an inheritance that I've spent 26 years growing. I'm worth approximately $1.3 billion. Gasps now, murmurs. I've worked as a janitor at 32 different companies over the past 26 years. It's how I do research. I watch people when they don't know I'm watching, when they think nobody important is looking. That's when I see who they really are. Marcus had gone pale. Jessica was staring at her shoes. And what I've seen here, I continued, is a company that started with good values and lost its way. A company where some people forgot that the person who cleans your office is just as human as the person who signs your paycheck. I pulled out a piece of paper, my journal, the one with 97 documented instances. Over the past 3 months, I documented every time someone at this company treated me with disrespect, every cruel comment, every dismissive gesture, every moment someone forgot I was human. I looked directly at Marcus. November 3rd. You walked past me in the hallway. I said good morning. You didn't respond. He flinched. I looked at Jessica. November 12th. You left your lunch dishes on your desk for a week. When I collected them, you said, "About time. What do we even pay you for?" She'd started crying. I have 97 entries like this from 43 different employees. Some of you are in this room right now. The crowd was completely silent. You could hear people breathing. So here's what's going to happen, I said. Starting Monday, we're implementing changes. Big changes. Changes that will remind everyone what this company stands for. I looked at Thomas. He nodded. First, mandatory sensitivity training for every employee. You're going to learn how to treat support staff with respect. You're going to learn that the person who cleans your office is just as valuable as you are. That hierarchy doesn't mean humanity. Second, new employee handbook with clear policies about workplace respect. Violations will result in warnings. Multiple violations will result in termination. I don't care if you're the top salesperson or the best engineer. If you can't be decent to people, you don't work here. Third, pay raises for all support staff, janitors, security, cafeteria workers, everyone who keeps this building running. You're getting 15% raises effective immediately, with benefits matching what executives get. Some people applauded. Most just stood frozen. Fourth, anonymous reporting system. Anyone who experiences or witnesses disrespectful behavior can report it. All reports will be investigated by me personally. And fifth, I paused. Let the silence stretch. Performance reviews are being restructured. From now on, 50% of your evaluation will be based on how you treat your colleagues, all your colleagues, including the people you think don't matter. I folded up my paper, looked out at the crowd. Some of you are probably scared right now, worried you're going to be fired, wondering if this is revenge. It's not revenge, it's a reset. I didn't buy this company to destroy it. I bought it to save it, to remind all of you that success isn't just about profit margins and stock prices. It's about building something that treats people with dignity, that recognizes everyone's humanity. My father used to say, watch people when they don't know you're watching. That's when you see who they really are. I've been watching, and I've seen who you are. Now you get to show me who you want to be. I handed the microphone back to Thomas. The party will continue, I said. The bar is still open, the food is still good. But I suggest you spend tonight thinking about what kind of company you want to work for. Because starting Monday, this company is going to be different. And if you don't like it, there's the door. I walked off stage. The crowd parted as I moved through them. Nobody spoke. Nobody looked at me directly. I went to the bathroom, changed out of my janitor uniform, put on the dress I'd hidden there earlier, black, simple, expensive. When I came out, I looked like a different person. Not Margie the cleaning lady, Margaret Chen, billionaire investor, executive chairwoman. I went back to the party. Thomas found me first. That was magnificent, he said. That was necessary. What happens Monday? We start fixing things. Do you really have 97 documented instances? I have 217. I only shared the ones from the past 3 months. Didn't want to embarrass anyone too badly. He laughed. You're terrifying. I'm fair. There's a difference. Over the next hour, people approached me. Some apologized, some thanked me, some asked questions. Marcus came over, looking sick. Ms. Chen, I don't know what to say. You could start with, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was an asshole. I didn't realize. You didn't realize I was human? Or you didn't realize I was important? He flinched. Both. I'm so sorry. Do you want to keep your job? Yes, please. Then starting Monday, you're going to learn. You're going to take the sensitivity training. You're going to treat every single person at this company with respect. And if you fail, you're gone. Clear? Crystal clear. Good. Now go think about what kind of person you want to be. He left. Jessica came over next. Ms. Chen, I'm so embarrassed. You should be. I don't have an excuse. I was cruel. I was thoughtless. I'm so sorry. Why did you do it? I don't know. Everyone else was doing it. It felt like it was okay because you were just the cleaning lady. Just the cleaning lady. I didn't mean... Yes, you did. You meant exactly that. You thought being a janitor made me less than you, less deserving of respect. I was wrong. Yes, you were. Do you want to keep your job? More than anything. Then prove it. Starting Monday, you're going to treat everyone with dignity. Everyone. The janitors, the security guards, the cafeteria workers, everyone. And if I hear one word about you being disrespectful to anyone, you're done. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. By the end of the night, 37 people had apologized to me, some genuine, some terrified, all of them realizing their careers depended on my mercy. I gave them all the same message: learn, change, be better, or leave. Monday morning came. I arrived at 7 a.m., not in a janitor uniform, in a business suit. The office was eerily quiet. People arrived and went straight to their desks. Nobody made eye contact. Nobody talked too loudly. Everyone was waiting to see what would happen. At 9 a.m., I called an all-hands meeting. 400 employees packed into the largest conference room we had, standing room only, silent. I stood at the front, next to Thomas. Good morning, I said. I know many of you spent the weekend worried about your jobs, wondering what changes are coming. So let me be clear about what's happening. First, nobody is being fired today. This is not a mass layoff. This is a culture change. Relief washed over the room. However, that doesn't mean everyone's job is safe forever. Starting this week, HR will begin conducting individual performance reviews focused on workplace behavior. If you've been disrespectful to colleagues, you'll get a warning. If it continues, you'll be let go. Second, we're hiring additional support staff, more janitors, more security, more cafeteria workers, because the ones we have are overworked and underpaid, and that stops now. Third, we're implementing new policies, mandatory sensitivity training, anonymous reporting system, new code of conduct. All of this will be rolled out over the next month. Fourth, I'll be working here full-time as executive chairwoman. My office is on this floor. My door is always open. If you have concerns, bring them to me. And finally, I paused. I want to address the elephant in the room. Some of you are wondering if I'm angry. if this is about revenge, if I'm here to punish you. I'm not here to punish anyone. I'm here to remind you of something you forgot, that every person who works here matters, that the person who empties your trash is just as important as the person who closes the biggest sale. My father built his fortune by watching people, by understanding that character matters more than credentials, that how you treat people when you think nobody's watching tells you everything you need to know. I bought this company because it was worth saving, because Thomas built something good that was being destroyed by people who forgot what good looks like. So here's my challenge to all of you. Show me you're worth saving too. Show me this company deserves to succeed. Treat each other with dignity. Work together. Build something that matters. Or don't, and leave. There are plenty of companies that will take you. Companies where cruelty is rewarded and humanity is optional. But this isn't one of them anymore. I let that hang in the air. Any questions? Hands went up, dozens of them. Yes, you in the back. A young man stood, engineer, based on his t-shirt. What happened to the Vertex deal? We heard they were buying us. Vertex wanted to buy you so they could fire 40% of you and replace you with automation. I bought you so I could keep you employed and make you better at your jobs. Any other questions? A woman in the front. Are you really worth over $1 billion? Yes. Any questions that aren't about my net worth? Nervous laughter. You. I pointed to a middle-aged man in the middle. What's your question? Why did you work as a janitor? Why not just invest from a distance like everyone else? Because watching from a distance doesn't tell you anything real. Seeing how people treat the janitor tells you everything about company culture. If you can't be decent to the person who cleans your toilet, you can't be decent to anyone. More questions, more answers, for 90 minutes. Finally, Thomas stepped forward. All right, everyone, back to work. We have a company to run. The room emptied. People filed out quietly, thoughtfully. Thomas turned to me. That went well. That was the easy part. What's the hard part? Keeping them. The good ones will stay. The bad ones will leave. The question is whether we have enough good ones to rebuild. We do. I know we do. I hope you're right. Over the next 6 months, we lost 83 employees. Some quit, couldn't handle the new culture, didn't want to work somewhere that prioritized humanity over profit. Some were fired, couldn't stop being cruel, couldn't learn respect. But we gained 112 new hires, people who heard about the changes and wanted to work somewhere that valued them. People who were tired of toxic corporate culture and wanted something better. The sensitivity training was mandatory, 8 hours for every employee, taught by professionals who specialized in workplace dignity. But it wasn't just PowerPoint presentations and corporate jargon. It was real, difficult, uncomfortable. They brought in people to tell their stories. A woman who'd worked as a janitor at a law firm for 15 years, who'd been sexually harassed by partners, who'd reported it and been fired for creating a hostile work environment. A man who'd been a cafeteria worker at a tech company, who'd watched engineers throw food at each other, creating messes they'd never clean, who'd been called slurs when he asked them to stop. A security guard who'd worked at a hospital, who'd been physically assaulted by a doctor who was angry about being asked to show his ID badge, who'd been told by HR that doctors are under a lot of stress and he should be more understanding. These weren't abstract lessons. These were real people describing real pain. And every employee at Chen Bradford Technologies had to sit there and listen, Had to confront the reality of what happens when you treat people like they're invisible. Some people cried during the training. Some people got defensive. Some people walked out, went to HR, tried to quit. HR sent them back. This training is mandatory. If you can't complete it, you can't work here. The anonymous reporting system was implemented through a third-party platform, completely confidential. Anyone could report anything. In the first month, we got 47 reports. Some were serious. VP made sexual comments to cafeteria worker. She's afraid to report it directly because she needs this job. Some were petty. Coworker keeps stealing my lunch from the fridge. We addressed it anyway. Stealing is stealing. Some were about me. New owner is making everyone walk on eggshells. Can't say anything without worrying we'll get fired. I investigated every single one, personally. The VP who made sexual comments? Fired. I don't care if he brought in $5 million in revenue. Sexual harassment is non-negotiable. The lunch thief? Caught on camera, given a warning and required to reimburse everyone they'd stolen from, plus mandatory ethics training. The complaint about me? I met with the person who filed it, asked them what they meant. I feel like I can't be myself anymore, they said. Like I have to be perfect all the time. Do you want to be yourself, I asked? Or do you want to be the version of yourself that was cruel to people you thought didn't matter? They thought about it. I guess I want to be better, but it's hard. It should be hard. Change is always hard, but you know what's harder? Being on the receiving end of cruelty every day. They nodded. You're right. I'm sorry. Don't apologize to me. Apologize to the people you hurt. Then do better. They did. I checked. The pay raises for support staff were implemented immediately. Every janitor, security guard, cafeteria worker got a 15% raise, plus benefits matching what executives got: health insurance, dental, vision, 401k with company match, paid time off. Some board members pushed back. This is going to cost us $700,000 per year. That's money we could be spending on R&D. Or, I said, it's money we spend on making sure the people who keep this building running can afford to live. Your choice. But I own 51%, so actually, it's my choice. The raises went through. One of the janitors, a woman named Rosa, who'd worked here for 8 years, came to my office crying. Miss Chen, I don't know what to say. This raise, it means I can finally afford my daughter's college tuition. I was going to have to take out loans, but now I can pay for it. You've been cleaning our offices for 8 years, Rosa. You've been showing up every day, doing excellent work, treating everyone with respect. You've earned this. You've earned more than this. Can I hug you? Of course. She hugged me, sobbed into my shoulder. Thank you. Thank you so much. You're welcome. Keep up the good work. After she left, I sat at my desk and cried too, because that's what it's about. Not profit margins or stock prices. People. Real people with real struggles who deserve to be treated with dignity. The new employee handbook was 200 pages long. Most of it was standard corporate policy. But there was a section called Workplace Dignity Standards that was new. Every employee at Chen Bradford Technologies, regardless of position, title, or salary, is entitled to be treated with respect and dignity. This includes being greeted when encountered in hallways or common spaces, having your time and effort acknowledged, being included in company communications and events appropriate to your role, working in an environment free from harassment, discrimination, or hostility, being addressed by your proper name, not diminishing nicknames, having your concerns taken seriously when reported. Violations of these standards will result in progressive discipline up to and including termination. Under each bullet point were specific examples, real situations that had happened at our company. Example of violation: walking past a colleague without acknowledging them after they've greeted you. This signals that they are beneath your notice. Example of violation: leaving messes for cleaning staff that you could easily address yourself. This demonstrates a lack of respect for their time and labor. Example of violation: excluding support staff from company events or food provided for employees. All people who work at this company are employees and should be treated as such. Some employees complained, "This is ridiculous. Are we really going to fire someone for not saying good morning?" "No," I explained. "We're going to fire someone for a pattern of behavior that demonstrates they don't see their colleagues as human. One missed greeting is nothing. A year of walking past someone like they're furniture? That's a problem." The anonymous reporting system started showing patterns. Certain departments were worse than others. Sales was bad, engineering was surprisingly good, finance was mixed. I started attending department meetings, unannounced, just to observe. At a sales meeting, I watched the VP address his team. "We need to be aggressive. We need to be sharks. Nice people don't close deals." I raised my hand. "Can I add something?" Everyone froze. They'd forgotten I was there. Nice people absolutely close deals. You know what nice people do? They build relationships. They make clients feel valued. They create long-term partnerships that generate revenue for years. Sharks? Sharks get one big sale and then wonder why the client never comes back. The VP looked uncomfortable. "I just meant, I know what you meant. You meant aggression is valued here. But it's not. Not anymore. Competence is valued. Results are valued. Treating people with dignity is valued. Aggression is optional. And if it comes with cruelty, it's unacceptable." The whole department sat in silence. "Anyone have questions?" No hands went up. "Good. Carry on." I left. Heard murmurs behind me. Let them murmur. They needed to learn. Marcus went through his transformation slowly. I watched it happen in real time. Week 1, he was terrified. Walked past me in the hallway, froze, backed up, stammered out, "Good morning, Ms. Chen." Week 2, he started holding doors open for people, support staff, junior employees, anyone. At first, it looked performative. By week 3, it looked natural. Week 4, I saw him in the break room. A new janitor was struggling with a mop bucket. Marcus helped him. Didn't make a big show of it, just helped. Week 8, his team submitted anonymous feedback about him. Marcus has changed. He's more patient, more respectful. Meetings are less stressful. He actually listens now. Week 12, he came to my office. "Ms. Chen, I wanted to show you something." He handed me a handwritten letter. "Dear Rosa, I know you don't remember me, but 2 years ago you were cleaning my office and I was rude to you. I made a comment about how you were slow and asked if you could work faster. You didn't say anything, just finished cleaning and left. I've thought about that moment a lot since Ms. Chen's speech, about how cruel I was, about how I treated you like you weren't human. I'm sorry, I was wrong. You work hard, you do an important job, and you deserve respect. I hope I'm better now. I'm trying to be. Marcus." "Did you give this to her?" I asked. "Yes, yesterday. She cried. Then she hugged me. Then she told me she forgave me." "How did that feel?" Like I've been carrying something heavy and finally put it down. That's what accountability feels like. Good work, Marcus. Thank you for giving me the chance to be better. You gave yourself that chance. I just created the environment where it was possible. Jessica left the company after 3 months, couldn't handle the new culture, went to work for a competitor. According to LinkedIn, she lasted 6 months there before being fired for workplace conduct issues. Some people never learn, but most people, given the right environment, the right support, the right expectations, most people will choose to be better. That's what I learned working as a janitor for 3 years. People aren't inherently cruel. They're just lazy. They default to whatever the culture allows. If the culture allows cruelty, they'll be cruel. If the culture demands decency, they'll be decent. My job isn't to punish the people who are cruel to me. My job is to create a culture where cruelty isn't an option anymore. Epilogue. It's been 2 years since the holiday party. 2 years since I revealed myself as the majority owner of Chen Bradford Technologies. The company is thriving. Revenue is up 38%. Employee retention is at 92%, highest in company history. Customer satisfaction scores are through the roof. We've been ranked as one of the best places to work in tech. Not because we have ping pong tables and free snacks, because we treat people with dignity. The article in Forbes was titled, "The Billionaire Janitor: How Margaret Chen Revolutionized Corporate Culture." They interviewed me for 6 hours, asked me why I did it, why I worked as a janitor when I could have just hired consultants. Because consultants tell you what you want to hear, I said. Janitors tell you what you need to know. They see everything. They hear everything. They understand your company better than any MBA ever will. The article went viral. I got calls from other CEOs. Would you come work at our company? As a janitor? Tell us what we're doing wrong? No, I told them. Do it yourself. Spend a week in your company as invisible labor. See how your people treat the staff they think don't matter. You'll learn everything you need to know. Some of them did. Most didn't. Most preferred consultants who would tell them their culture was fine and just needed minor tweaks. Their loss. Thomas retired last year, peacefully, happily, knowing the company was in good hands. At his retirement party, he gave a speech. I built this company on a foundation of good values, but I let those values erode. I let ambition overtake humanity. I let people forget why we were here. And I'm grateful, so grateful, that Margaret had the courage to remind us. She didn't have to buy this company. She could have invested anywhere, but she chose us. She chose to save us from ourselves. That's the kind of leadership we all should aspire to. He handed me a gift, a framed photo of me in my janitor uniform, taken the morning before the holiday party. I was emptying trash, smiling at something, completely unaware I was being photographed. This is who you really are, Thomas said. Not the billionaire, not the executive chairwoman. The person who shows up, who does the work, who sees people. Keep being that person. I have that photo in my office now, next to my desk, a reminder. I promoted Marcus to Director of Marketing. He's excellent at his job. But more importantly, he's excellent to the people who work for him. He learned. He changed. He became the person I hoped he could be. Last month, I overheard him training a new hire. Here's the most important thing you need to know about working here. Treat everyone with respect. I mean everyone. The person who cleans your office is just as important as the person who signs your paycheck. You get that wrong, you don't work here. The new hire nodded, looking slightly confused. Isn't that obvious? You'd think so, Marcus said, but I had to learn it the hard way. Don't make my mistakes. We hired 20 new janitors, gave them all salaries of $50,000 per year with full benefits, gave them the same respect we give engineers and executives. One of them came to me last month. "Miss Chen, can I ask you something?" "Of course." "Why do you treat us so well? Most companies don't care about janitors." "Because I was you. I know what it's like to be invisible. I know what it's like to be treated like furniture. And I promised myself if I ever had power, I'd use it to make sure nobody else felt that way." "Thank you. It means a lot." "You're welcome. Keep up the good work." The woman who asked me that question, her name is Lisa. She's 43, single mother of 2, working 2 jobs before she came here. Now she works 1 job, makes $50,000 per year, has health insurance for her kids, and can actually afford to live. Last week, she brought her kids to the office. They'd asked to see where their mom worked. She introduced them to me. "This is Ms. Chen. She's the owner of the company." Her son, maybe 8 years old, looked at me with big eyes. "You own the whole company?" "I do." "Are you nice?" "I try to be." "Mom says you're the nicest boss she's ever had." Lisa blushed. "I may have said that." "It's true, though," I said. "Your mom works hard. She deserves to work somewhere that treats her well." The boy nodded seriously. "When I grow up, I want to work somewhere nice, too." "Then make sure you're nice to people," I told him. "The way you treat others determines the world you live in. Remember that." "I will." After they left, I thought about that conversation, about the ripple effects of how we treat people. Lisa's kids will grow up knowing that work can be dignified, that employers can be fair, that they deserve respect. And maybe, someday, they'll create that kind of workplace for someone else. Maybe they'll remember the company where their mom worked and the owner who treated her like a human being. That's the real investment, not the money, the culture, the values, the reminder that we're all human. I still work as a janitor sometimes, not here, at other companies, when I'm considering an investment, when I want to know what a company is really like. Last month, I spent 3 weeks working at a startup in Seattle. Tech company, young CEO, impressive product, and terrible culture. I watched the CEO scream at his assistant, watched engineers mock the cleaning staff, watched people treat each other with contempt. I didn't invest, but I did send an anonymous letter to the CEO. "I worked at your company for 3 weeks as a janitor. I watched you. I watched your team. I watched how you treat people when you think nobody important is looking. You have a good product, but you have a terrible culture. And eventually, that culture will destroy everything you've built. Change now, while you still can, or watch your company fail." A friend. I don't know if he'll listen. Most people don't, but some do. And that's why I keep doing this. Why I keep putting on the gray uniform and becoming invisible. Why I keep watching. Because character matters. How you treat the person who cleans your office matters. How you treat people when you think nobody's watching matters. And if more people understood that, if more people lived by that, the world would be a better place. My father was right. Watch people when they don't know you're watching. That's when you see who they really are. But I'd add something to that. Give people the chance to show you who they want to be, because most people, when given the choice, will choose to be better. They just need someone to believe in them first. That's what I do now. I invest in companies, but more importantly, I invest in people, in their capacity to change, to grow, to become better versions of themselves. It's the best investment I've ever made. And unlike stocks or real estate, it pays dividends that money can't measure.